Hey, welcome back. This is Shane with TrifectaCode. Trifecta, right? The three pillars, good things coming. Three, Larry, Curly, and Mo. I don't know. That's sounds good. Actually, it started from the good old days with Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Two friends of mine and I, our online band name was Binary Trifecta. So a little homage to the good old days here. But we're here going to go over the Cisco DevNet Associate Blueprint. And I told you earlier that the Cisco has a bunch of free online resources. They're really promoting the heck out of this DevNet path, and for good reason, I think. I believe this is going to really step things up, make network engineers and administrators a lot more well-rounded, and really it's kind of the future, I think, where things are going. It's more automation, integration, doing more with less. So, I also started out, I want to apologize, my first video was what the hell Cisco, and really it's I think it's a great thing. So I'm getting pretty excited, and like I said, we're going to go ahead and start the blueprint just overview and see what Cisco recommends that we study, and we'll start there. We got to start with a plan. So we're going to go right off the blueprint for Cisco DevNet Associate. First thing is, if you go to developer.cisco.com and you'll come up their homepage, I highly recommend getting a free account set up here. But just to show that all this information is available without logging in, I have not logged in with my account. You get a few notifications, not too much spam, but some good content, some webinar information, things like that. But where we want to focus on is developer.cisco.com/certification. And make sure you're registered for the updates, and very soon I'll be clicking this button and going into my Pearson VUE account and getting my exam booked. Just want to get a little more familiar with the foundation and gauge a timeline, realistic expectations with the other commitments on when I'm going to go ahead and sit for the DevNet Associate. But we can see the tiers here. DevNet Associate going down to Specialist. They've got a bunch of different specialist certifications to tack on to the Associate, and then ultimately get into the Professional and soon to be released. They say soon. I would expect sometime 2020 they'll offer the CCIE DevNet for the people who really want to get into coding. But here's where the magic is. The DevNet Associate, click there, and here are the knowledge domains, or the pillars of the DevNet Associate certification. And if we go into it, here's the blueprint, and we can see that the sections and the pillars are all broken up. The percentage that is weighted on the exam as of the version 1, which, by the way, the exam number is 200-901. Typical 2 hour for U.S. I guess you get a little more time if you're not native English speaker, or maybe taking the exam in other parts of the world. But here in the U.S. for normal tests, it's 120 minutes. Don't know how many questions are on there. I don't know that anybody does, but we're just going to go ahead here and expand some of these out. Now here's all the subsections here. Compare data formats, describing parsing, XML, JSON, YAML, compare software development, agile, waterfall, and so forth and so on. But really what I want to focus on here is the study material. So let's say we're going to set up a Windows workstation to begin our DevNet journey, which is what I'm going to do. I'll go back and make a couple other ones, hopefully for the Mac users and the Unix users. But here we go. We need to get logged in with to view some of this content. So if you have a Cisco CCO account, go ahead and get that logged in, and I'll go ahead and do that myself. while that logs in, here we go. We get all these steps to the learning labs and set up workstation. There's, we can come through and see what's going on, installing Python, any editors, IDE, the development environments, any other tools we're going to do. We're going to be dealing with Postman and ripping apart websites, looking at the source code and passing APIs. I've kind of peeked ahead a little bit here, but this is what we're going to follow. We're going to follow their recommended study material. And now here's one thing I do want to point out. This is not inclusive. Cisco comes right out here and says they are not designed to serve as a complete self-study program, but as a suggested starting point. So that is shown here where if you go into the Python videos and parsing, and then we need to get into version controls with Git and maybe using GitHub or things like that, where we're going to push, we're going to pull, we're going to commit, we're going to merge, finding diff, and none of that really is, there's an introduction to Git, but I don't expect everything in here to be outlined on the study material. Like Cisco says, or just a study point. Where do you start? Because this is such a new area for Cisco. But I don't know how we're going to break it out. Just try and keep them in bite-sized nuggets, and we'll go ahead and see how things are going. And please leave some comments down below if you're following along. Don't forget to subscribe. If you if you do, tell your friends. We'll see how far this thing can go. Maybe we'll build a little community here on getting this going. So that's what we're going to follow to start with. So hopefully that gets everybody in the right direction, and hope to see you on the next one.